I need some audience participation today, guys. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. Great. Anybody have a success story that they'd like to share? I'd love to hear one.
I don't have anything for the week.
Oh, nobody got a good referral? Nobody got a great relationship established? Nothing?
I have 2 new realtors that were sent to me from other realtors that I do business with.
That is the second time I've heard that happen this week. That is amazing. That's awesome. If you think about that, a realtor not only sending you clients, but then to refer you to another agent, doesn't that just speak volumes about our competition?
Huge.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Think about that for a second. The one LO that shared with me that earlier this week, it said, he sent me the text message that the realtor had sent to him and said, I told my best friend who works in the office with me that her clients shouldn't have to suffer through poor communication. I've got the best LO for you. And she put him in touch with her, and they hit it off like nobody's business. He got 3 referrals from her this week alone.
Wow, that's awesome.
Have you guys, does anybody read, does anybody spend some time reading books that, like self-improvement books?
Not recently, but I have in the past.
Recently? There's a book that I stumbled across, and it's a book called Talent is Overrated by Jeff Colvin. I'm starting to read it, but the first chapter really kind of opened my eyes to something that I think is really, really cool. Talent is overrated. You know, they were doing a little history lesson on it, and he brought up in the marathons that were being run at like 1901, 1902, the average high school marathon runner today can beat the world record-setting marathon runner in 1901 or 1902 by 20 minutes.
Wow.
Think about how talent we all have God-given gifts. There's no question. But there's no replacing hard work, dedication, and commitment. More often than not, it's not a natural gift that we have that makes us succeed. It's our pursuit and constant attention to getting better. And I love that because it really set the tone for what I felt like happens a lot of time with our businesses. We sometimes fall back and just sit back and let things happen. And the truth is that those that actually apply themselves on a more consistent basis tend to see better results. And it made me really sit back and go, wow, of all the LOs that I get a chance to talk to, it's amazing how many of you guys really are passionate about what you do. I mean, just to show up for this call once a week when I'm not sick is probably more education than what most of your competition gets on a daily or weekly basis. And when you get realtors to refer you to other agents, man, that really drives home the point that you guys are something special. And I don't want you guys ever to forget that. That is a very, very powerful endorsement. I don't know in my career how many times I had that happen. I don't think it was many. I think maybe I can count on one hand how many times I got a realtor to refer me to another realtor. So kudos for you for making that happen. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened, why they referred you, or was there a certain situation that they used to amplify your relationship?
The one was she is a new realtor, and the realtor that referred her is the broker for a company that I've just known her for. I started going to Bunko with a bunch of realtors, which is like on Thursday nights once a month, and I'm like, it's really not what I love to do because I'm spending time away from my family, but it has really gotten me a lot of referrals because I'm getting to know them on a personal basis.
I'm gonna share something with you that do you guys all know who Carl White is by chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I got a chance to sit down with Carl White. He came into my office yesterday, and we got to chit chat for about an hour together. He's up visiting the corporate office this week, and it was kind of fun to have him come in and sit down and pick my brain, which, I consider myself to be nowhere near his level, but anytime I get a chance to talk to him, I really take it to heart. And he drove home a point to me that I thought was really kind of powerful, in the sense that and it speaks to what I think all of us believe in, what you just kind of related to, Lonnie. The realtors that refer us, the relationships that we have, don't give us business because of what we do for them. They don't refer us because we give them better service, or because we give them their clients better rates, or because we do things for them on social media, or because we drop by. Realtors refer us, and or any other referral partner refer us because of our relationship with them, because they like us, because we are friends, and because friendships have a bond that you always keep at top of mind. And when you really pay attention to how we treat our clients, the more that you treat your clients like friends, the more you act like a mom or a sister or a friend, and not like a loan officer to your realtors or to your referral partners, the more you connect with them on a personal, intimate level. Now, Bunko, is that like a game? Is that a game or something that you go to?
Yeah, it's like a really no-brainer dice game.
Okay. So you go hang out with them socially for an hour or two a week, and you do have to take time away from your family, which is tough. But when you look at what's happening, why has that become so successful for you?
Yeah, because I go and hang out with them and laugh and talk and eat and have a couple drinks.
You don't talk about mortgages. You don't talk about clients. You don't talk about transactions, do you?
Nope. Well, some of them, because some of them are my referral partners, and they're like, "How's so and so doing?" Deals wise,
right.
But yeah, not other than that.
But you don't show up with your name tag on your lapel. You don't show up with your bag. You don't show up with your mortgage professional hat on. You show up with I want to come and hang out and get to know these people. I think a lot of times we spend our days from 8 in the morning till 5 at night trying to role play ourselves as being the mortgage professional and nothing else. We don't know how to take that hat off and just put on I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a neighbor, I'm a sister, I'm a confidant, I'm a connector. And I think a lot of times most realtors, most referral partners don't want that from us, because they're sick and tired of the same song and dance over and over again. When you get invited, or if you create opportunities to invite your agents to events, you're going to find that your relationship is the reason why. And depending on how vulnerable you are and how deep you take that relationship is going to actually determine how much business you get from them. Now, certain people they're just not going to refer you because they don't have a lot of business. So be careful who you choose to hang out with. I have a lot of friends in the real estate business, but I never really counted on many of them to refer me business, because most of them were just not in that professional mindset. Most of them didn't have that they didn't wake up every day trying to find a way to get new business. They just simply existed. But the 5 that I kept really, really close ties on were the ones that referred me consistently. But I had a large group of realtors and financial planners and CPAs that I talked to, but just never sent me business because I like them. I enjoy hanging out with them. You guys right now are coming into a time when we're about to get busier. I mean, I know you guys are busy, but springtime generally up in Michigan is very, very busy. And I think because it kind of correlates to the way the schools let out, I think the summertime is when most people buy homes. I'm here to tell you that right now, if your goal is to increase your volume, if your goal is to create more opportunities for yourself, stop trying to constantly be that loan officer to not only just your clients, but to your realtors. Connect with them. Treat them like friends. And by friends, I mean, I always ended my conversations with my clients when I met with them, or on the telephone when I first introduced myself, or when we first took application. I always ended my conversation with, "Isn't it nice to know that you have a friend in the business?" And that to me was an assumptive close. I didn't want to hang out with them socially, not every one of them, but I wanted them to realize that they could see me as being somebody that they would treat and that they would honor as a friend, because that's how I would treat them. And I wanted that to happen because when I communicated and when I talked to them, it was not always about work. I always, whenever I communicated with them about their appraisal or about their approval, that was the information that I was giving them, but I always made it a point to deliver a personal touch to it, because I wanted them to understand that I pay attention to the little details. I'd ask them what was going on with their, like I'd make notes of, what their kids' names were, and I'd had this all about you form that I had my clients fill out before I actually met with them when they came into the lobby. I know some of you guys don't meet with your clients face to face, but I always had my clients fill out like this questionnaire while they were waiting for me. So I got to know their anniversary, their kids' names, their birth dates, their likes, their favorite magazines. And I always tried to connect with them on a personal level and always made it a point in my mind to consider them a friend. I considered myself a professional mortgage, doing mortgages, but more importantly, I looked at everyone as if they were a dear friend of mine. And I made them kind of take that same line of thought with me. And I believe that one of the reasons that I was so successful at getting referrals was because I treated my clients not like a transaction. I truly believed in the whole triangle of trust concept as it relates to relationships. And that passion is what my clients felt. They knew that I would go to bat for them and that I would go to the end of the earth to make sure that their loan would go as smoothly as possible. I didn't overpromise. I managed their expectations because I didn't want, nobody wants their friends to be disappointed in them. So we always put our best foot forward. But to Lonnie's point, when you have opportunities to hang out with your agents socially, and not just for a cup of coffee, but if you guys can find your common interests, those are the people that if they're really committed to having a business and constantly building up new clients, those are the ones that you should invest your time in. I know you have to choose between your family and your business at times, but like Lonnie said, I mean, for those couple hours, is it once a week on Thursdays? Is that what you said?
No, it's like 3 hours and it's only once a month. So it's really not that bad.
And so what's been an estimated return on investment for you if you wanted to look at it that way?
Oh, huge. Huge. Like huge? Probably 3-4 loans a month.
That's pretty substantial. Can anybody else think of a social group that they would love to get involved in, something that they're passionate about that they couldn't find a connection with realtors on? To me, it was running. When I was training for a marathon, I reached out to all my realtor partners and my financial advisors, and I asked them for advice. I was like, I'm about to sign up to do a marathon. Do you know anybody in your life that's done one? And I was introduced to 3 realtors that I became running partners with. And I'll tell you what, they changed the way that I trained because 2 of the 3 had actually done more than one marathon. And it was so inspiring to hang out with them. We got to talk. We got to talk about work while we ran. We got to talk about personal lives, and they became friends. These agents, these people, I didn't get a ton of business from them. I got a couple transactions here and there from them. But what was cool was I didn't show up acting like a loan officer to them. I showed up being somebody that could use their advice and became a friend to them. And I was able to get business just from doing something that I was either struggling with or something that I was excited about doing. And I would challenge you guys, picking up the phone on Fridays and Mondays, doing the Thor's Hammers calls is great. But if you're not finding creative ways to engage with your audience separately from just acting like a loan officer, you're going to get burnt out and you're not going to find that you're going to gain a lot of traction. So I'd challenge you guys as you guys get closer to the busy seasons, find some creative ways to start hanging out with your agents socially. Find out what their greatest, find out what their charities, find out what they're plugged into. Go onto their Facebook page, see if they're involved in any kind of charitable committee, find out if they're involved in any kind of social function, find out if they're involved in anything, and see if it's something that you'd be interested in, and find a way to join it. So has anybody run into a situation where they have not been able to set a stage with their clients in the beginning? Is anybody struggling with that presentation of the building the rapport, permission to reject, and the triangle of trust and setting expectations and then the agreement to work together? Is anybody struggling with that presentation? Is anybody doing that presentation?
The only ones I struggle with, Doug, are the ones that I don't meet with in the office initially because they're working and they just want to do everything online or over the phone. So really, I've only had one like that recently, and I lost the deal because she wasn't happy with it was investment property. She wasn't happy with the rate. So I kind of made a little help with setting the stage when we're not face to face.
Okay. It's always going to be infinitely harder to set the stage when you don't meet face to face. I think the study says that the 3 styles of communication, being face to face, belly to belly, belly to belly, face to face. What are the? And my mind is, I'm drawing a blank. What are the 3? You communicate over the telephone, handwritten cards, letter, and then belly to belly. Most people are much more effective communicating when they're face to face. Body language creates 55% of the effective communicating to people. Tone is about 38% and words are about 7%. And so email and written word is the hardest to deliver a message, especially when you're trying to set the stage. I had a broker or a branch down in Florida call me up and ask me, she's been struggling with, morphing her business from being all face-to-face, like kind of old world, old school, which is the way I did it, into the new age where her loan officers are all really, social media driven. They're all, they're all internet savvy and so forth. And they don't meet with a lot of clients face-to-face anymore. They always just send out information. And she's seeing a lot more activity, but she's seeing a lot less conversion, meaning she's getting 50 leads a month, but she's only converting a smaller percentage of them. And the more that we become the Jetsons, you guys remember the cartoon, The Jetsons? Does anybody not remember who the Jetsons were?
And Jane, his wife.
You got it. So the more that we become the Jetsons, the more that our businesses become more technically advanced. The people who act like the Flintstones are going to see monumental success. And that spoke to me at so many levels. I think the internet, I think social media, I think anything that we can do to disseminate information and expand our net is a fantastic opportunity. However, if we simply rely on that to create relationships, it's going to fail miserably. And the people that understand that there's still that human interaction that's required. I mean, I just held this Florida roundtable, and I know that Rochelle, you were there, weren't you? Yeah, Rochelle was there.
I was there.
There's a reason why people still come to physical events. Otherwise, I would just do a Skype conference for a full day, and we could have everybody in the respective audience, everybody who's speaking, just stay at their office and talk. You have to first decide whether or not you want your business to look like that and make a commitment that that's the way you're going to go. Otherwise, if you choose that you don't want to do it that way, then I have some options on how you can set the stage more appropriately to help them understand the importance of meeting with you. So let me ask you this question. Was this person just, quote unquote, too busy to meet with you, or was it a geographical challenge?
Quote unquote, it's the busy season for her job and they're working 12-hour days.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question. If you weren't feeling well and you were busy and you needed to go see a doctor, would you make the time to go see a doctor so that you could get a prescription to make you feel better?
My husband yells at me for not doing that, but yes, if I had to, I would.
Okay, if you had to. Yeah. The problem is that our clients don't believe that they have to. So I always use that analogy of, it's hard for me as a consultant to provide you the level of service that the person who referred you to me is expecting if I don't meet with you face to face. I understand that you're busy, and I also understand that my business may not be the right business model for you. But in order for me to deliver on a process and a product that I would expect that you would refer to other people, my business model requires that we meet face to face. At that point, it's okay to not be the perfect fit. It's okay for them to go, you know what, I'm just too busy to meet with you. Best of luck. The truth is that you came to the same conclusion anyway, except they used your rate as an excuse, which now challenges whether or not you believe you're valued enough, and it takes that client back to that referral source, and they use rate to define your value to them. Do you think that helps or hurts the triangle of trust conversation?
Or it hurts the triangle of trust conversation.
So if you were to respond with, I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to be a good fit because I need to meet with you face to face, then you could go back to the client who referred them or the realtor and go, I would love to meet with your client, but she's super busy and I can't deliver the level of service that you need or you come to expect if I don't meet with them face to face. So I had to tell her that she was best to go someplace else. Do you think that conversation helps or hurts the triangle of trust relationship?
Exactly what you're saying. That would help for sure.
Because what you're doing is you're honoring the relationship, which is where that referral came from, and it isn't about rate. They're not going to use the rate as a complaint. The truth in the matter was, if she would have met with you, they probably would have used you if your rate was competitive, and you probably would have had a better chance of convincing them that you were the right person for the job. But we tend to fall into the trap of, I'm just a commodity when my client isn't willing to, to fall into my business model. McDonald's doesn't come to your table and wait on you while you sit there. You have to go to the counter. You could sit at a McDonald's table all day long and nobody's going to wait on you. You could go to an attorney and call them up and go, I want you to represent me, and the first thing you're going to say is, come on in. You're going to call a doctor, and the first thing that they're going to say is, come on in. You don't see people fighting the models that are out there that people have to adjust their life to come to handle, to come to deal with. You can go to fast food, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to anything and look at the picture, and we fall into these roles that these businesses really essentially require us to fit into. We don't expect the businesses to fit into us, so then why do we expect ourselves, who are the professionals, to fit our clients? This isn't the tail wagging the dog. Not the tail wagging the dog. We have to define our value clearly enough and let our clients understand that you are too busy. I get that, and by no means do I want to add stress to your life, but if I'm not able to meet with you, there's the chance that the stress that you would be experiencing through the process is going to be significantly more than just being able to carve out an hour or so in your day to meet with me. And that's the idea that there's another bank down the street, there's a credit union or somebody else that's going to offer them up something. They're not going to get the level of detail. They're not going to get the consultative nature. They're not going to get the management of fears and expectations the way that you would have done it had the client decided and was really kind of told that this is the way your business works. And it's okay to say no to people. I would rather be the one that says no to them than them using rate against me and use that to spread the word that I'm not competitive in the market. That makes sense?
Totally get it. I like that.
There's also the other side of the equation. There's also the geographical realities in our business now. I think that you have to, if you're going to commit to doing business not face-to-face, you've got to become extremely, extremely strong in your communication skills of the setting of expectations. It got to the point for me where I was able to convince people to come in to meet with me regardless if they were too busy. But there were certain clients in northern Michigan, which is about a 5 to 6 hour drive from where I live, that I wasn't ever able to meet. And so I got really good at using the referral source, the triangle of trust, to leverage the power and the reasoning why my model works the best for them. Most of the clients that I work with that were in Northern Michigan, I had a couple financial planners that had clients up north, and I would always use that triangle of trust to really drive home the point of, I understand that we're not going to be able to meet. However, my business, 9 out of 10 clients always meet with me face to face. So I set the stage in the beginning that it's an exception that I don't meet with you, that we are going to run into some serious conversations about managing of fears and expectations because I don't get a chance to meet with you. I don't feel like I'm doing as good of a job for you because I don't get a chance to meet with you and really dig deep into your situation. And so their ears perk up and they're more aware that I'm concerned that I'm not meeting with them. So I make it more about, I'm afraid that they're going to be disappointed. So I put them on notice and then really layer that triangle of trust conversation about, we're going to work really hard, but I need your attention. I need you to commit that this process isn't going to be very easy. And I understand that as you go through this, you're going to be bombarded with people talking to you about other mortgage professionals or other interest rates. And I just need you to realize that our market is driven by the same interest rate, the same banks, and where you're going to find the difference, painfully, is that if you go down that path with a cheaper rate, you're going to find that you're going to run into some challenges that you may not get away from. And then I use the referral source as another backup, and I have them call and tell them how imperative it is that they listen to what I have to say and how their experience with me has been for the last couple years. It can be done. You can absolutely not meet with your clients and still drive home that message, but you've got to be infinitely stronger at your presentation in the first 5 to 10 minutes over the phone about why you're allowing them not to meet with you. Why you are afraid that by not meeting, the process is going to be a little bit more complicated. Can anybody see the reasoning behind that? Nope. I lose everybody? Bueller?
No, I can see it. Bueller.
Is some doubt? There's some doubt there?
No, I mean, I have started meeting with most of my customers face to face at the beginning with, you know, I'm thinking 9 out of 10 as well. And it really does, like, and I've had several issues that were out of control on my loans where I had to call and be like, hey, we need to go to plan B. And I feel like they're a lot more accepting and understanding and ready to move on because they trust me to tell them like what they should do.
There's so much trust. Let's go back to, we've all done this. Has anybody ever been in a situation where they've had to shake the hands of somebody that they've agreed to do business with? We've all had it, right? How would it feel? How would it feel if at the end of the meeting, you reached out your hand and wanted to shake their hand and they said, you know what, nope, I don't need to shake your hand, I'm good. How would that feel if that person didn't want to shake your hand?
They're a germaphobe. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's
possibly. No. Yeah, it's almost like not putting a period at the end of a sentence. It's almost like you've come all the way to the end and then there's no consummation, there's no finality, there's no sealing the deal, so to speak. That speaks to the need that people have for human interaction. That physical touch, that handshake, doesn't mean anything other than physical contact commits the people that they like you, they agree with you, and there's that physical bond that's established in a business-to-business relationship. When you talk over the phone or you talk through the internet, which I highly, highly advise against when you're starting a relationship with somebody, don't ever, ever start a conversation off on the internet. Get a phone number, immediately pick up the phone and schedule time to talk to them. You have to. But it goes back to that handshake. If you're not able to make that bond with people, there's something lost. You're not as valuable to them. And I will tell you, barring the whole geographical side of it, I've never had a client, I shouldn't say never, I've had very few clients refuse to meet with me. Now, I've had to go above and beyond. I've had to go meet with them after my normal business hours if the client and the relationship in which it came from was strong enough to help them out. But I always use that as an amplifier. I always used it to say, I don't typically do meetings after 6 o'clock, but because you were referred by so-and-so, I'm going to make an exception. But you're going to have to understand something. I'm going to be expecting you to refer me if I do my job, right? So I always use it as an opportunity to amplify the relation, because if I'm going to go that extra mile, I'm going to ask my client to do the same for me. But when you actually start the relationship with that physical touch, you are much more likely to have a better connection and be able to weather the storm in the transaction better than if you didn't meet with them face to face. Has anybody ever? Can anybody else see the correlation between if you don't meet with your clients, you always kind of feel like they're not 100% committed to you, but then if you do meet with a client, there's always that there's a relationship there that if something happens, like you just said, they seem to want to just get through it and move on to game plan B. Does anybody see the difference of meeting clients and not meeting clients?
Yes.
I get that we physically can't do it every single time, but if your business is leaning more towards the not meeting face-to-face, I cannot stress upon you enough how important it is to deliver the message effectively over the telephone and make it to where you explain to them that it's not normal for you not to meet with your clients, so that at least they have the sense that you want to and that you typically do, and that it's an exception. So it's almost like you're doing them a favor.
Totally get it.
Did that help answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Anybody else have anything else they want to share?
I don't. I just have a question for you, Doug, but when you have a second about my letter I sent you.
I loved it. Do you want to talk about that on the call, or do you want to do it separately?
It doesn't matter.
I know how vulnerable you don't want to be sometimes, so I'll let you decide.
I mean, I'm okay with it. It's not, I just had a couple questions about like the input you gave me and what to add.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll call you right after the call. I'll pull up your letter and we'll go through it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I'll send out the replay later. Does anybody have any questions, or if anybody runs into something that they struggle with during the week, don't hesitate to call. Otherwise, have a great St. Patrick's Day. Everybody be safe. Enjoy your families. Get home safely if you guys are going out, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.